So we click in cell A1 and we go all the way over to E1. You just click and drag your mouse, and this gives you the ability to merge these cells, to center your text. And what it does is literally it knocks down the walls of the columns. So if you come up here to your home tab, over here to to alignment, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so we can see the whole ribbon. The alignment has a merge and center feature. If you click the arrow next to it, it gives you other choices. But what we want to do is merge our cells, which knocks down those walls, and center our text. And there you have travel expense report all together. You do want to save between steps, although Excel doesn't take as much memory as PowerPoint. It takes a little bit more than Word. All right, are we all good? Great job. Let's go on to step 3. In cell E5. Now the one thing I do like to do is I will click on the cell we're working on and turn it bright yellow or a different color so you realize where we're working. Obviously you don't have to turn yours that color. I'm just telling you where we're at. So I clicked on column E, row 5, and that is the number of nights. So we're traveling in this expense report from June 1st to June 5th. And you would think, oh, that's 4 nights. So what do we always start a formula with, team? Right, we're in Excel, so we want to do the equals. That's the button right to the left of your backspace on your keyboard. And then to be more accurate, we could type E4 minus E3 to subtract those 2 dates. But what we want to do is click those cells. It's called cell referencing. So we click E4. Then we do the subtraction symbol. That's 2 to the left of backspace. If you have a number pad over on your keyboard on the right, I'm in the top right-hand corner of subtraction as well. And then we click E3. And so we have the equation, which is also on your paper notes next to you, of equals E4 minus E3. Once we hit enter, it will calculate that number. I'm going to center it and bold it. You don't need to do that for the instructions, but I wanted you to see where we were working today. Also, another way to look at this formula, you can click on the cell and come up here at the top. This is the formula bar. It will color code which cells you worked with. Notice E3 is red, and down here E3 is circled red. E4 is blue, and down here E4 cell is circled in blue. So realize that this is a good place to type and make changes in your formula as well. Working in the cell is okay, but sometimes it can be really tight. If you start clicking something incorrectly, like if I'm here on this formula and I start clicking something else and it's not something that I wanted to include in my formula, the best thing to do is hit escape. All right. Otherwise, as you click in cells in Excel and Access 2, it will just keep adding to your formula. All right. I'm going to change that color back to a normal no-fill color because we're done with step 2. And now we are going to step 3, I think. Or is it step 4? Nope. Step 4. All right. In cell B12, so it's asking us to work in B12, enter a formula to calculate the amount budgeted for mileage to and from the airport. You do need to find mileage to and from the airport. It's 60 cents right there. And the amount based on the mileage rate from the airport to round trips. So apparently we're going about 20 miles when we go to the airport and back. Do realize they represented miles with 2 0 decimals. You don't normally do that if it's a whole mile, but that's just how they did that here. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to work on cell B12. Do notice I made this mistake yesterday when I was practicing. Right underneath the word budget is a blank cell. This row 11 is just telling you how much travel to destination. So it's like a header. You don't want to actually put your formula in there. You want to be in B12. So I'm going to type my equal sign, And then I'm going to work with those numbers. Mileage to and from the airport costs 0.60, and my round trip miles is 20. So I actually need to multiply those. I'm going to flip this. I'm going to click B6, and then to multiply in Excel, you actually don't hit an X. You know how we write X before we go to algebra for multiplication? You actually go Shift and 8, or on your number keyboard right above the number 9, and you get that little asterisk. The asterisk is telling you that you mean to multiply. You will use this asterisk even if you have 2 sets of parentheses. You need to add the asterisk every time. Okay. So in B12, we want to multiply cell 5, 6, and then we want to multiply that by cell B5, which is the cost per mile, or 60 cents. I think here at the college, I get 49 cents a mile when I'm traveling out of town. So once I've done that, I hit enter, and it says, okay, it's going to cost you $12 a mile. All right, so I'm going to go back to no fill on that, and go ahead and hit save. That's the end of step 4. And now we're going to go down a bit. One of the errors I did see that I want to go over just real quick. One of the errors I did see was like up here in number of nights, people, for some reason, it was defaulting to date, and it was showing a date like that. So if your numbers aren't in the format you want them to, think about going to the Home tab, to the number panel, and going back to General. We will make some accounting and some currency and some percentages later as we work through this assignment. But if something doesn't look right, that may be one reason. Another reason we often see is we see hashtags, or those little number symbols. Can you see column E right now and see how it has all those hashtags? That means that the column is too narrow to show your data. People freak when they see this because they think it means error. It will actually give you an error if you make an error. So if you just come between the 2 columns, make your mouse do the arrows out on both sides and double click. Excel will automatically resize the column. You can also drag any column to whatever size you want if you need to make it bigger. Okay? So again, double clicking between those columns or rows can make them automatic fit. All right. Airport parking. So we now need to go, which step are we on, guys? Step 5? Is that right? Okay, so we need to be in cell B13, and I need to stay focused. Here we go, focus. Enter a formula to calculate the amount budgeted for airport parking. So airport parking daily rate is $9 a day. But we'll be at the hotel 4 nights, but remember there's that travel day. So we need to compensate for $9 a day plus 1 more that we're going to be staying at, because we'll probably be on the airplane and our car will still be in the airport parking. So let's look at doing that in cell B13. We start with an equal sign, and then we want to click B4, which is our daily rate of our parking. And now we want to multiply that not only by the number of nights we stay in the hotel, but 1 more night that we're going to have for traveling. So we're going to multiply, so we go Shift and 8, or again, the multiplication asterisk right above your number 9 if you have number keys. And then Shift and 9 gives us an open parentheses. We're going to click E5, which is the number of nights we're going to stay at the hotel, but we're going to add 1 more night. All right, so Shift and plus 1 to make sure we compensate for that extra day of travel. So our airport parking is going to cost us $45, and that makes sense because 9 times 5 is 45. All right. So now we're going to move on down to step 6. In cell B17, so I need to resize again. B17. There it is right there. We can make it a little bigger and just kind of go down. All right, so we're going to work on hotel accommodations now. We'll turn that cell yellow so you know where we're working at. In our formula to calculate the amount budgeted for hotel accommodations, we already know we're going to be staying in that hotel for 4 days and nights, right? We've got our 4 up here. But look at our hotel rate. It's $149 a night. Ouch. And then their tax rate is 18% on top of that. So not only do we need to multiply 4 times 149, but we also need to include our 18%. If we simply just multiplied by 18%, we would get 18% of the total value. But we need to do a 1 plus that 18%, so we compensate for the full value of the $149. So let me walk you through that formula. This is probably our longest one for today. We'll hit equals, and then we'll go E5, which is our 4 nights in the hotel. And now we're going to go shift and 8, which are our asterisk for multiplication. And then we're going to go times E6, which is our $149 a night to stay in the hotel. Now we need to compensate for that percentage of that hotel rate. So we're going to go shift and 8 again to multiply by a set of parentheses. So shift and 9 to do an open parentheses. And then we're going to add that 1 plus cell E7, which is our 18%. So we end up multiplying by 118%, basically, to compensate for that full $149. Once we close our parentheses, we should get back $703.28. I'm going to click on that so you can see that formula one more time. It's equals E5 times E6 times parentheses 1 plus E7. All right, anybody need any help? Good job. I'm going to go ahead and go no fill and save again. And that's the end of step 6. So let's go down to step 7. In cell B18, so now we're talking about meals. And we'll highlight B18 so you know where we're working. And we're going to make this just a little bit bigger so we can see everything. Enter our formula to calculate the amount budgeted for meals. We have a daily per diem allowance of $65 a day. But remember, we got to compensate for that travel again. So not only will it be the 4 days and nights we stay in a hotel, but that one more day for travel. So we're going to go ahead and click in B18 and then hit equals. And then we're going to click B3, which is our daily meal allowance of $65. Now we want to go shift and 8, which means we're going to multiply by the days stayed at the hotel plus one more. So shift and 9, which gives us that open parentheses. E5 is our nights in a hotel, but we want to go plus, so shift and plus 1 to add that extra day for travel. So again, B3 times parentheses E5 plus 1 close parentheses. And then you hit enter, and you're going to end up spending $325 on just eating. But think about it. You'd probably end up spending some of that anyway if you were eating at home or getting takeout at home. All right, let's go ahead and go to step 8. In cell D12, so we're in a new column now. We're over here in column D, cell 12, on the over and under. So now you're going to calculate the difference between what you budgeted for this trip and what you actually spent. And to be able to do that, it's telling you to create a formula that will count the difference. Hey team, what does difference mean? Yes, that is the key term right here. of this word problem, difference. So we're going to click in cell D12 and hit the equal sign. And then we're going to click C12, which is what we actually spent, minus B12. So 12 minus 12 should come back as a 0. Or maybe a 1. 0. And some of the other stuff it asks us to do, okay, I think it asks us to format it. Delete the formula and so it does ask us to run the formula all the way down. So to do that, you can click the green and drag it all the way down to cell D19. Or you can come over where this little green box is and double click it once you have the black cross mouse, and it will automatically fill all the way down. It compensates and takes that formula and goes down to the next cell and the next cell. So here you can see we subtracted C17 minus B17 and got $6.72. Okay. I don't think it asks us to change the accounting format or anything at that point in time. So we're going to go ahead and go no fill and save, and then we'll go down to step 9. Thank you. Okay. Notice how we have a 0 right here in destination expenses. And it's subtracting C15 and B15, but there's nothing there. So you actually want to come over here, highlight that cell, and come over here on the Home tab to the Editing panel. And see where it has the eraser for Clear All? You want to clear all. You don't want to delete because you may leave some scripting in there. So by clicking it and hitting Clear All over in the Editing panel, you guarantee that your scripting in your formula has been erased. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll do that. Okay, now in E12, right? Step 9 takes us to E12. And it says, enter a formula to calculate the percent of the budget by dividing the actual expenses by the budget expenses. So where we subtracted before, we're actually going to divide. Hit equals. And I guess I could have, oops. There's an example of clicking. This is what I was telling you can happen when you click and make a mistake. If you hit escape, that'll go away. I wanted to color this yellow so you knew where I was working. And then I'm going to go equal, and I'm going to go C12 divided by B12. And your division symbol is underneath your question mark. If you're working on a keyboard, or if you're working on a number pad, it's right above the number 8. So now we can hit enter, and it says 1. Well, if you think about it, the percentage of the budget is 1 or 100%. So if you click on that cell E12 and come up here to the number panel on the Home tab, and then click percent, you'll have 100%. So we budgeted for $12, we spent $12, we spent 100% of our budget. Does that make sense? So then you want to double click that autofill or pull it down, and notice here is a bona fide error. You cannot divide nothing by 0, right? Nothing. You have 0 budgeted and 0 actually spent. So you're dividing by 0, and that can't be done mathematically. So again, you want to click in that cell, which is E15, and you want to come over here on your ribbon to the Editing panel to Clear All. And you want to clear everything out of that cell. So we also formatted it in percent. And that's good. All right, where are we at? Delete the formula. We're going to save, and we're going to go to step 10. On to the second page of instructions. Now, from now on, we've done most of our formulas. I don't believe there's any more formulas. Now the last part of Excel will have us do the decoration. It's good to do this extra step when you're creating a worksheet. So your worksheet is easy to read and that people can understand what you've already worked with that you do know. Insert a new row. So to insert a new row or column, you want to click on the place you want it at. We want it on row 19. So if you'll click over here on that gray 19 and then right click your mouse, you can see that it gives you an opportunity to delete a row or insert. We click insert and then it says, what do you want to insert? Oh, no, it doesn't. It just does it. It inserted a row. Okay, so cool. Type the word other. So we're going to type O-T-H-E-R, and that's just one of our headings. It says bold it. So you highlight and come up to your font panel and hit bold. And delete the formula in E19. So now that we've added extra information, it's still going to pull down that formula. We need to click in E19 and go back over to our Clear All editing panel and hit Clear All because we don't want it calculating something that's not there. And hit Save. And that's the end of step 10. There's about 9 more steps. So we're about halfway through. Step 11, indent twice the labels A12 to A14, A16 to A18, and A20. I forgot A20 last night and it counts off, so we don't want to forget that. So if you'll click your mouse in cell A12 and drag down to A14, then hold your control button and click A16 and drag down to A18 and click A20. You have just highlighted various cells, not all together. Once you've done that, come up to the Home tab, to the Alignment panel, and you see how you have the little blue arrows? One is to increase indent and one is to decrease. We want to click increase 2 times. So it's that little blue arrow to the left of merge and center. Go ahead and hit save, and that's the end of step 11. If you couldn't get your mouse to click correctly, you of course could just do one set at a time. Either way works. All right, we're going to go down to step 12 and apply a counting number format to the ranges B12 to D12, and B21 to D21. So B12 is right here at the budget. To D12 is just straight across. And then if you'll hold your control button and go B21 to D21. By adding accounting formatting, we're going to be adding dollar signs on the left side of the cell and decimals lined up in the cell. So we come up to the Home tab, we go way over to the numbers, we click that pull down menu in number, and we click on accounting. And as you can see, it automatically will add a comma. It will put a dollar sign to the left and a decimal with 2 cents. That's the end of step 12. And we're going to go down to step 13. Apply comma style to the range B13 to D20. B13 to D20. So kind of the center of your data, but not including the 2 rows that we just formatted with accounting. By adding a comma, for every 100 you would have a comma. So in an hotel accommodations, if this had been 1,703, we would have had 1,703. We don't have any thousandths, so adding comma is kind of not needed, but I'm sure we'll be graded on it. So we go to the Home tab, to the number panel, and right here is the comma style. You click that, but look, it also added decimal points. So 2 cents decimal points. Hit save and go down to step 14. Apply percentage style with 1 decimal place to range E12 So that's way over here to E20. Now, we added percent earlier, but we didn't add a decimal place. However, with our accounting and with our comma format, it did add 2 decimal places. It is unusual when you're dealing with money to add 1 decimal place. But we're going to go down to 1 decimal. And if you come here to the number panel, you can see you can increase decimals or decrease decimals. We want to decrease the decimals 1 place. Decrease the decimals 1 place. And that's the end of step 14. You want to save that and go down to 15. Ensure the comma style is applied to the range B20 to D20. So that's the incidentals, B20 to D20. I thought we did do comma, but we're going to add it right here. I guess it changed some formatting. Use the underline button to underline the range. What you want to do while that is highlighted is hit Control and capital U or regular U. Notice how it underlined just each column, but not through the columns. If we had used an apply border, it would have gone all the way through the columns, and it didn't want you to do that. It even says, do not use border feature. So after saving, we go down to step 16, apply the cell style bad to D21. D21. So we went $76.67 over budget. So we come up here to cell styles and we choose bad. Notice there is a good and there's more choices as well, but we're going to click bad, and I'm going to suggest you do this twice. Last night on these computers, it did not want to register, so I just want you to make sure you do it twice and save, and that 76 is in a red cell with red text. We went over budget, $76. That's a whole day's work. All right, select the range A10 to E20. So A10 to E21 is our entire chart. And what we're going to do is once we select that, we are actually going to use borders. We're going to come to the Home tab, to the Font panel, and click Thick Outside Border. And basically that just outlines our whole chart. Once I click off of it, you can see that outline. And it makes the information kind of pop in center. Step 18, select the range A10 to E10. So A10 to E10 are our titles, and apply the blue-gray text to lighter 80% font. Oh, moly holy. That's a big one, isn't it? Okay. So we come up into the Home tab on the Font panel. We click that blue down, that pull down A, and it's the 4th column, 2nd row, and it's blue-gray, text to lighter 80%. Oh, wait a minute. That's not fill. That's font. We want fill. I'm sorry. We want this one. So see how I picked the blue? We wanted black text, so that's not what we wanted. We just wanted blue fill, which is over here, the fill bucket. Apply center alignment and wrap text. So with cells A10 to E10 still highlighted, we come over here and center everything. And then we come up in alignment and we click wrap text. And that would be if you had more text that wouldn't fit in one box, it would wrap it to the next beneath it. So now we go to step 19. Set a 1.5 inch top margin and select margin settings to center the data horizontally. Okay, so we want to go to page layout, which is our 4th tab. We want to go to the margins and click down all the way to custom margins. Anytime you are only working with one part of a margin, you want to go to custom margins. Up here at the top, change it to 1.5. And then see where this says center on page? You want to click horizontally, which means it's going to move your data to the middle of the page, left and right. Click OK. And if you Word file preview this, you can see that your data has been centered on the page. All right. We're going to go back now and go to step 20. Insert a footer with a text exploring series on the left, sheet name in the middle, and file name on the far right. Okay, so let's go do that. We go back into insert page layout. Go to the page layout tab, go to margins, go back to custom margins. And when you do that, it gives you the choice of working on your page, your margins, your header footer, or your sheet. You want to click the third tab at header footer and go to custom footer. When we have custom footer, we have 3 sections. If you only have 2 sections, you're in the wrong one. I like to type and then use my tab key to go between my boxes. So I type exploring center and hit tab. Now it says sheet name code. The sheet name code is the third from the end, and that's what you named the worksheet itself, which we called it expenses, if you look down here at the tab. And then we're going to hit tab, and it says, now insert the file name code. The file name is what you name this workbook in Excel. So you click the fourth from the last icon that looks like an Excel icon, and then you click OK. And if you look right here in your margin page setup box, it's got exploring series on the left of the footer, expenses, which again is your worksheet name, and then your name of your whole file, your workbook file on the right. Click OK. Make sure you save and close and submit for grading.